Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Alright, so today I am your judge, Jury, and your analyst. And today I will bring you a budget team. My top 5 budget teams for the Ultra Premier Cup. Now, here's a disclaimer. This was actually really hard to do. I tried to put together 2, like, Community Day move Pokemon and something in the back. Like, trying to make something that, like, costs, like, 100k dust or less. But, unfortunately, it was pretty hard to do. Like, I could still find stuff, but in all honesty, if you look at the list for Ultra Premier, here's what you get. XL, 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 XL. If you look at the top 10, or even the top 20, in the top 20, only 1, 2, 3 Pokemon, 3, 4, or, well, 4, 5, well, 5. So, out of 20 Pokemon, only 4 of them are non-XL. So, it kind of just goes to show you just how oppressive, actually 6 of them because of Surfetch, but so that just shows you how oppressive XL Pokemon actually are. You can make the argument all you want that, yes, there are counters to XL Pokemon, however, that doesn't dispute the fact that they are really powerful, and if you do have them, you have a pretty good advantage over people that don't, or if you have, or against someone that doesn't really even have, like, anything at all. Anyways, again, these are my top 5 budget teams. I try to make it so these is 100k dust, but I did my best. So let's get started. Alright, so my number 5 budget team, as you see here, is going to be Charizard, Muk, and Venusaur. So Muk is going to be your safe switch, Venusaur is your back row. You're gonna see me use Venusaur a lot in this video because it's just that good. For a Community Day move, you get a Mon that can resist Charmers as well as Fighters. Yes, you die to Talonflame pretty hard, but you could still beat Talonflame if you manage to Sludge Bomb it to death. So again, because Community Day moves give you so much play in this meta, I'm going to use Community Day moves. It's the only way you can contend in Ultra Premier with really cheap Mons if you don't have like 100k dust, etc. Now, I'm going to give you a triple budget team, but I did put something in here. The thing is, you have to like, having one Mon that costs a decent amount of dust is not super necessary, but it's kind of, it helps a lot. So, I try to make it as cheap as possible. Again, this doesn't account for power-ups, just for second moves. So, for second moves, this is about, like, I think Alolan Muk is a 75k dust for a second move, I believe. But Charizard and Venusaur only cost 10k dust for their second moves. So, Alolan Muk is still a very, very powerful safe switch. It's still very good in this meta. I like it a lot. Just because of Community move, just because of its ability. Sludge Wave and Dark Pulse is just such great coverage against so many things. And with the ability to wipe out Charmers, you can use Gunk Shot if you want to, so it's even better. But it's really up to you. So this team actually features 70k dust for the second move. The Alolan Muk is actually 50k dust, so it's pretty cheap to play out. As you see here, this team has good coverage, good bulk. Great consistency, safety, and consistency. If you lose the lead, say switch in a Muk. This is kind of one of my go-to teams. Charizard, Amok, and Venusaur, just because Amok's a beast. A lot of people that I coached actually did pretty well with it, so I still think it can do really well in this meta. It's very vanilla, very generic, but because Community moves are so overpowered, this team can work. As you see here, this does feature a Dragon Breath Charizard. You can use the Fire Spin one as well, but the reason why I use Dragon Breath is because with Dragon Breath Charizard, you'll beat Dragonite, you also beat Kingdra. So Dragonite with Charizard with Dragon Breath is actually a beast with Dragon Breath. So you should totally use it, especially since there are so many people that are using Dragonite or like Kingdra safe switches. So there's a lot of ways you can put this. You can even reorder this to put Venusaur on the front, but it's really up to you. As you see, semi-high threat score, but if you look at your top threats, Talonflame, Toxicroak, etc., this team does very, very well in this meta. It's going to do a lot of damage over time. Just be aware that Dragon Breath does charge slower than Fire Spin. However, being able to beat dragons or Dragonite leads is a really huge plus. So I think you can use Fire Spin in this place, but remember, if you do use Fire Spin, you will risk losing to dragons, which are a very popular thing nowadays. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, this team can do very well for you. You can do the Fire Spin one. Again, like I said, you can do the Fire Spin variant. So if you do the Fire Spin variant, just keep in mind it does change a bit. As you see here, if we use the Fire Spin variant, Same safety and consistency, but if you look here, you base it, as you see here, things like, that's when fire type. Another good thing to mention is that you can beat Swampert with Charizard with Dragon Breath just because your fire spins aren't resisted. So as you see here, dragons do give you a hard time. With Dragon Breath, you eliminate that weakness. Team number 4 is my triple starter team. This is a 30k team. It's extremely cheap and it's extremely vanilla. For good reason. Your safe switch is like in this team is going to be Swampert. You can use, I would recommend you just keep Earthquake. Hydro Cannon will do a lot of damage over time. It's going to end with Earthquake. You can threaten and do big damage against a lot of things. However, keep in mind this team is very susceptible to grass types. Yes, you have Charizard in the lead. However, be very careful because things like Obstagoon can give you a pretty hard time. This team's really good. I normally use Fire Spin here, so you can use Fire Spin. But Dragon Breath Zard is a beast again. As you see here, with Dragon Breath Zard, you can try to fry Swampert with Dragon Breath damage. You can also try to, or just like sack Charizard, etc., do something like that. But as you see, this team is extremely powerful. The triple starter team is very tailor-made to do very well against a lot of meta picks. As you see here, with Charizard with Dragon Breath, you see how you can cover. You can beat Magnezone. You could also beat Dragonite. So you do have coverage against a lot of things, as you see here. So again, Dragon Breath Zard is a pretty legit mon. As you see, this team does cover each other very well. Say switch into Swampert, etc. As you see, it's very strong. Take shields and then annihilate in the back row with Community Day moves. This team has a very low threat score. Again, this is a Dragon Breath Charizard. You can use Fire Spin. I heavily recommend Dragon Breath though. As you see here in the top, with Dragon Breath, you can actually take on Talonflame because you do resist Incinerate. Just be careful not to get burped, because if you do get burped, it kind of sucks. But in that scenario, what you could do is you could sack Charizard, send in Swampert, take out those shields from Talonflame, come out the back with energy, and shield advantage for Venusaur in the back. So this team is still very powerful. Again, I do recommend you use Dragon Breath Charizard. This is a very powerful budget team, and it will serve you well. I've had a few people tell me this team has given them a lot of success, and I think it could still operate well, even in this XL-infested meta. Team number 3 features Magnezone, Gallade, and Venusaur. I do believe this is a team that was featured before on the PV Poke rankings. I forgot who the heck. Someone actually made this team, but I totally forgot what it was. Anyways, this team is not dust friendly, unfortunately. Magnezone and Gallade are expensive. I know this is a budget team, but for this thing, it's pretty budget just because Magnezone is 50k dust. Gallade itself is, I think, 75k? I think it's 75. So this isn't really a super dust-friendly team. This does cost you a little bit bang for your buck, but if you do, this team is still like, this is one of the cheapest budget teams in my opinion. As you see here, very safe. You safe switching Gallade, then you clean up with Magnezone or Venusaur. As you see, it's incredibly powerful. Not too much bulk, but great in other areas. This team is designed to do a lot of damage. That's basically it. You damage. Do a lot of damage with this team. It's going to require you to have some energy management skills and some really, you have to be really good with energy and shield management. But other than that, this team still does really well. As you see, it's pretty safe against the overall meta, and it also has a very low threat score. But, well, again, it's it's pretty dang good, but this team will require you to kind of manage and shield that energy very, very well, so just keep that in mind. Also, not too great on the dust bank. If you don't have 135k dust for a second move, so about 200k dust for this team, this is probably the most expensive team on this list, but it statistically still works well, so I'm going to put it out there, especially if you already have these Pokemon. Alright, so team number 2 features Obstagoon, Gallade, and Charizard. Now, this team is okay. So what you can do with this is that you can replace Charizard with Venusaur or Swampert or Empoleon. It's really up to you. I wanted to create a team with Obstagoon because Obstagoon is a great mon, and it's actually pretty cheap. Believe it or not, Obstagoon only costs 10k dust for a second move. So, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best budget mons in there, because if you get the boost, you kill a lot of things. You can also run Hyper Beam. You don't have to run Cross Chop. You can also run Hyper Beam. You can run Gunk Shot. It's really up to you. But that's a lot of variety, a lot of versatility, and as you see here, it still does well when you pair it with 2 Community Mon Pokemon. Again, this has Charizard. You can replace it with Venusaur. In my opinion, that's probably the best way you could do it. As you see here, this is what you get with Charizard, and in my opinion, again, Venusaur works very well. You can also use Dragon Breath Charizard, that's also an option. So Dragon Breath Charizard can serve you well. As you see here, depending on what you decide to put in the back, it can be really tricky, but as you see here, this team does very, very well in a lot of scenarios. As you see here, Obstagoon can kind of give you, like, a little rough, but again, if you just switch, like, if you switch the Pokemon, it's really good. So, as you see here. So, if someone tries to use Kingdra Safe Switch on here, you can even use Dragon Breath Charizard. Actually, I prefer you have Dragon Breath Charizard just because Dragon Breath Charizard is able to take down the dragons, which you need. You kind of need them just to take, as you see here. With Dragon Breath Charizard, this is your standard. It has a very low threat score with Dragon Breath Charizard. The reason being is because the back row with Dragon Breath Charizard, what can happen, and if your opponent doesn't know, they throw a Dragon, a Kingdra, or a Dragonite into you. You kind of win that matchup. Also, this team is pretty much tailor-made to beat the Double Dragon team. So basic, yeah, this team is pretty much tailor-made to beat the Double Dragon team. You close combat what you'll do is you'll essentially close combat the Dragonite in the back for the W, unless your opponent just gets farmed out and then you Dragon Claw the unholy hell out of them, which is probably likely to happen. But as you see, this team is very powerful, very, very low threat scores, so definitely recommend. Again, I wanted to make a team with Obstagoon. Obstagoon is great. You can make a different moveset. Again, make sure you have Night Slash though, because if you get the boost almost if you boost and they don't boost, it almost guarantees that you will win that matchup. So the boost is just so good. +2 will almost guarantee you, especially if it happens early, you're going to win that match. Alright, and the budget team number 1. This isn't necessarily the most well, actually, this is a pretty good budget team. Yes, it costs 110k dust, but this is actually the 6th most powerful team on pvpoke.com. So for Ultra League Part 2, this is actually the 6th most powerful team. So having the other top 5 are riddled with XL Pokemon, this rivals the top 5 with no XL Pokemon. So as far as budget-wise, this team is very, very good. So I'm not going to go over too much. I already went over it when, like, my top 5, but it's just, this team is really strong, okay? I already went over it in my previous video for Ultra Premier, but I'm going to go over it real quick again. This team is very budgety because Gyarados only costs 10k dust. Machamp and Alolan Muck do take 50k dust to power up. So it's going to cost you a minimum of about 150k or 200k dust in order to do this. So 200,000. But this team is very powerful. Extremely consistent on the damage-wise. Not a lot of bulk, but it is great. It has great safety and coverage. As you see here, this team is tailor-made to do heavy damage. It will do heavy damage. It also kind of features a double safe switch. That's what I like about this team. Gyarados and Muck are basically safe. Both are very effective safe switches, and you can safe switch accordingly depending on what you see in a lead. If you win the lead with Machamp, it's great just because Machamp does so much damage with Cross Chop, it's nuts. And this doesn't feature a Shadow Machamp, it features a regular one, so even better. But as you see here, this team is very, very powerful. You can run through Swampert. You can run through a lot of 2-shield matchups just with Machamp alone. Except for things like Toxicroak and Nidoqueen. Yeah, if it resists counter, switch out. That's the basic synopsis. If you resist counter, switch out. If you see Toxicroak, switch out. Say switch into Gyarados. However, again, Machamp is a pretty legit mon. If you don't see something that resists counter, you can do a lot. Yeah, you could do a lot with this team. But just keep in mind, things like Venusaur and Charmers can give you a hard time, or Psychic Leads. Especially Confusion users, that can give you, it can give you some hard, or not really Confusion users, I would say Charmers. So Charmers can run through both Machamp and Gyarados in the 2-shield, so just be very careful. Other than that, this is a very powerful budget team, very low threat score, and it will serve you very well in this meta. Again, as long as you avoid a Charmer, you'll do fine, or you could finish it off with Sludge Wave. There's some things just be careful with Charmers, just because fairies are gonna suck. They throw it into you, that's fine. Just straight Sludge Wave, just Sludge Wave down with Alolan Muck and do your best. But yeah, just beware of Charm. Beware of Charm, as with anything. And that's it. I hope you guys like these. Yeah, I sound really, it kind of sucks because I did spend a little bit of time trying to compare things, and XL Pokemon suck. If communities weren't so busted and broke, then there wouldn't be such thing as budget. But you know, thank the gods that thank Lord Arceus, or thank the developers that whoever decided to make community moves overpowered. You guys are amazing, because without these, literally everything would be expensive as hell. Every Pokemon would cost over 100k. Well, not 100k dust, but at least 50k dust. I cannot convince a newer player to play PvP if it causes them to play like 100 hours before they can even build a team for Ultra League. Luckily, because of community moves, we have Mercy. Well, there's still no Mercy because, you know, Triple Ed dust ain't every day, but you know what? The times of Pokemon Go, it is a lot easier to get dust nowadays than back in the day. You know, back in the day, the struggle was so real. The first time I heard triple dust, I got really, really excited. Below the waist. Anyways, you didn't hear that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you like this. Again, I really try to put some budget moves together. These teams are very, very powerful. Make sure you do take some friends and practice, because even though community moves are powerful, they still require really good energy and shield management. But again, these teams I've tested and they've still worked really, really well in the Sims, in practice, and they still do really well, even against XL Pokemon. So, thank you, overpowered community moves. Anyways, again, please like and subscribe. Good luck and go Valley sets. Hopefully these teams do help you. I'll make an updated one, so this is going to be part 1. I'll be making a second one when I see the next top team list come around. Unless there's no real changes, but I'll do a second one just so that I can give you more options. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. Good luck and go Valley sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.
Ciao!